Welcome to I Read It, where we feature a new cool story every day. Subscribe to the channel and tap the notifications bell for new content. In today's story, XE610 tells us how he used malicious compliance to make his old boss hire him for 10 times his rate and pay for his college. My work environment is less an environment and more so a conglomeration of duct tape, spit, and cussing. I managed, among many things, a set of rentals, accounts receivable, and customer database analysis. Essentially, our company's bus factor was far too high-low. Another important bit that I handled were various legal documents that the state requires meticulous processes to be followed, and allows for a digital or physical paper trail. I opted for digital. Now, my boss kindly provided me a Pentium 4 dual-core computer that he found at the bargain warehouse for about $40. I had the most sophisticated workstation in the business. For context, this wasn't quite enough for database management and analytical software to boot up, more or less process a dataset, so I called up our IT guy, who worked for the boss's friend's sister-in-law's business, 200 miles away. I go, "Hey Tim, I need to add my personal laptop to the company network. Can you make that happen?" "Sure, I'll be down to that location in a week or two." "Sounds perfect, Tim." So, Tim shows up. We get the boss to rubber stamp that this is all okay, and I have remote access to the servers and some annoying corporate mandated securities on my laptop. Which, no big deal, they stay out of the way. Tim's corporate. My boss doesn't know a computer from a VCR. We didn't have anything like a software policy, either. I think some computers had Office 2007 installed, but that's clunky and makes data transfer complicated. It's the 2010s, there's no need for that. I do all of my work on a Google Drive account tied to my work email. This is great because I can hot swap my workstation to wherever the boss wants me today. Sometimes he likes to pretend I'm a secretary and throws me in his office. Sometimes he thinks I'm a technician and puts me at a station with no computer. Whatever. Data is transient. Anyways, things have been tense recently. I've moved almost all of my job to digital, and the boss thinks that means I don't work anymore. Obviously, an office monkey with no papers is an office monkey with not enough work. Now, he wasn't exactly wrong. I had been automating things, and was doing the job of about 6 people. How can I do the job of 6 people without the boss knowing? Easy. He likes to manage by the seat of his pants. One day he fired a maintenance person and just rolled that job into the receptionist, driver, and technician jobs. One day he decided that the sales team could handle marketing. Surely buying a single $2,000 camera is cheaper than having a professional do shoots each week. Besides, guerrilla handicap sales pitches are in vogue. It'll be great. Moving on, after 2 years of shuffling I had accumulated a large amount of jobs. Many of them tedious. And, with the right tools, made by me at home, on my personal laptop that happens to be able to connect to the network, a good 4-hour job can be completed with about 10 minutes of sorting and parsing data. So the time comes. We all know it's coming. One of the suits tipped me off that the particular suit whose payroll is wasted on chumps like me had propositioned the boss that a pair of receptionists can do the work I do, for cheaper. Just hire some college kids, work them each 18 hours a week, it'll be grand. Knowing that, I backed up everything to my personal Google Drive account, but of course did not delete anything from the company-owned one. Like I said, the state has a vested interest in these processes, and I knew in my heart of hearts that the company couldn't be trusted to maintain records. I didn't want to be on the hook for that in 6 years, so I kept a copy. I figured it would go smoothly. I'm called to the big office for a meeting. There's too many suits, my supervisor gives me some side eye. It's not a surprise. I carefully make sure to click, log out of all locations on my Google account and tuck my laptop into my car before heading upstairs. The meeting starts with the boss saying, "Well kiddo," yes, he calls me kiddo. Since I'm not 60 years old, I'm obviously a child. "Well, kiddo, I'm sad to say that I was wrong. I shouldn't have hired you. You're fired." Well, that was blunt. And rude. So I stand up, extend my hand across the table, and prepare to thank him for the last few years. Not so fast. "Sit down, we have things to discuss." "What?" I sit down for a moment, in brief shock. The adrenaline starts to pump and my fingertips are cold. Boss begins to tell me all of things they need from me. Contacts. Account statuses. Explanation of discrepancies on our accounts. Documentation for state interests. All things that, as his competent employee, I could have printed and sitting on his desk in moments. I decide to comply with him, starting the meeting by saying I'm fired. Where I live, Either of us can stop the employment situation for any reason. He had legally fired me. I counter him, well, boss, I don't feel particularly comfortable accessing your network since I'm not an employee. He exploded. Think of Karen, a millionaire Karen with little brother syndrome who wants to be John Wayne but looks a bit too much like Smokey the Bear's fat cousin to get the role. His explosion was violent. Spit everywhere. I'll save you the details of how he stalked me to my car and demanded the employees form a barrier. He called me a few times. They went to voicemail as I drove to a public Wi-Fi hotspot. I carefully removed my laptop from their network. I drove home, unpacked my work lunch. My phone hasn't stopped ringing. He probably had a receptionist being paid minimum wage to hit the redial button. Eventually I answer a call from his cell phone. He makes some demands. I very flippantly offer to come to work for him at 10 times my rate. He yells some more. An hour later, he's pounding on my door. I don't want to deal with that. I know he carries a loaded pistol in his car. Again, cowboy, emphasis on the boy. The cops escort him away and I email a copy of my security footage to the responding officer. He thanks me. The company doesn't flounder, of course. Boss man is a millionaire, and has been very carefully losing tens of thousands of dollars a year while operating his business. He may have lost some more in the interim. But that's not my concern. My concern is collecting my unemployment. And wouldn't you know, I was fired a few days before fall college class selection begins. I decide to take a few master level classes. I've had my BA for a while, might as well get some more school in on the boss's dime. Classes go well, and I coast through spring semester by tapping into a bit of savings. And wouldn't you know it? The pandemic happens, and my unemployment benefits are extended. Guess I'll take some summer classes. And those extended benefits were at 3x the base unemployment rate. Gee whiz, guess I can take a full set of fall classes too. And then the state extended it for another 3 months at double the base. I have winter session sign-up date marked on my calendar. The boss man calls me this morning. I coyly thank him for firing me without cause a year ago, and let him know I made the dean's list last semester. He tells me to frick off. He called to take me up on my deal. He'll hire me at 5 times my rate to give him some information. I remind him, wasn't the deal 10 times my rate? Frick you, 5 times is too much? And I only need you for an afternoon. Well, I've been thinking about it. My unemployment benefits run out in a week or 2. So I'll do it. I'll contract for you. I want 20 times what I was making. 40 hours minimum. Paid in advance. Oh, and written scope of work. I'm only doing the work you say you need done during negotiations. Frick you, I'll give you 5 times in a day of work and that's final. No, thanks boss. I have to get back to the classes you're paying for. Thanks again. I hang up. He calls back an hour later, just moments before I started writing this, actually. It's actually his daughter, the comptroller of the company. She says she spoke some reason to the boss. He'll hire me at 20 times my rate for 40 hours of work, half paid up front. Actually, it was 100% up front, not half. Fine. She starts telling me what needs done. Turns out, they're failing a state audit quite badly. Like, boss is not a millionaire if this isn't fixed kind of badly. They have all the information they need, of course, it's on my company email account's Google Drive. I'm not going to tell them this. Once he pays me for half a year's work, I'll gladly spend the hour or so of time it takes to transfer all of the data he needs to a flash drive, wait until Monday of next week, and then hand it to his receptionist. Really, the man couldn't have been nicer. He's already covered me going to college full-time for over a year, and is about to cover another 2 semesters. I should buy him a cake. What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments section. Help us grow so more people will join us. Thank you for watching this video and we will see you in the next one. Bye.